people that waited in line just to share this experience of Venom, Candyman, Night of the Living Dead, The Rock, Final Destination. But I want you to know you are now entering the
Cinema
Chop Shop with a top and a pop. Boom, boom, bop.
Cinema Chop Shop.
Hello and welcome to Movie Mash and Cinema Chop Shop over that side. But before I introduce Davey, I just want to give you what's going on. We're going to have a quick talk about a rant or whatever you want to call it about a certain thing that's been happening in the Snyder world or the Snyderverse and all that. But before I carry on, please hit the like and subscribe. Now, this here is the usual suspect, Davey from the 80s, because normally it's not important having him on my channel, but I think on this occasion there's a couple of things that I want to bring up that involves him too. So David from the 80s is Cinema Chop Shop. Check out his channel, put the link in below. How are you doing there, sir?
I'm doing fine, but let's get this straight. You need me here or else you wouldn't be doing shit.
Look, don't get a big head now, motherfucker. There is something I want to bring up about you and your channel on this thingy subject. It's just part of the toxic nature of this whole fucking bullshit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know or is interested, there is this Zack Snyder made a load of superhero films in the DC. They call it the Snyderverse or DCEU, whatever you call it. And they were hit and miss. And most of them were a failure, whether you liked them or not. And that was it. So they did have
a couple of hits though.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean,
Wonder Woman was successful.
Aquaman, biggest. It didn't hit billion. That was the biggest hit. No, Aquaman was.
Aquaman made $1 billion. Wonder Woman made close to $1 billion.
Snyder was the biggest one. Was Batman vs Superman. But regardless of that, and this is not a dig at Snyder fans, because I would say I'm pretty much a Snyder fan. I like a lot of his films, but this is directly at the cult of Snyder, yeah, or whatever, the Church of Snyder, or the Snyder cunts, whatever you want to call them, yeah.
The Church of Snyder.
Yeah, they're just right. The reason you're like, oh, you're over the top. Well, do you think so? How will I start? So, as I said, he made a number of superhero films. It didn't go the way he wanted. It wasn't all his fault, and a lot of interference by Warner Brothers and that in and out. You know, it was a bit of a mixture between both. And that was the end of it. Then the fans have done something that very rarely in this earth has ever happened. They protested so much that they got their Justice League, their Snyderverse, Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut.
Yeah. I mean, that never happens.
Wait, can I add something in? Because I want to point something out. This was advertised as in, like, everybody said, release the Snyder Cut, Snyder Cut, Snyder Cut, Snyder Cut, right? And they made it. This whole campaign was based off of the idea that the shit was done already. It just needed some tweaking and, you know, some little magic fairy dust sprinkled on top of it. But after you watch the fucking movie and then you realize that, yeah, there were definitely new scenes shot and added to the movie.
Yeah.
The Snyder Cut technically didn't really exist.
No,
it was like
bits.
There was no cut.
No.
It's like he had to add that shit in. Like maybe it was like, this is what I wanted originally, but I had to like cut it down. But the cut didn't exist. I just want to throw that out there for the people that feel like it existed.
Well, Warner Brothers ended up throwing like $100 million towards this film to get it reshot and remade, and not remade, but the extra bits and all that extra things, right? And it went to streaming. So I don't know how much of a comeback they got from that, you know, like if they made much on it.
It was temporarily released in movie theaters too.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, they threw money at a film that had already failed on films that already failed, you know. And the thing is look, I actually like the Snyder Cut better than the Joss Whedon one by far. I love Man of Steel.
But here's the thing: can we be honest here? Is the Snyder Cut better than the fucking Josh Whedon version because it's a better film, or is it just because this motherfucker took like 4 hours to tell
I mean,
a
there is that
cohesive
too,
story?
but you have to
It's
remember,
like,
like,
because if you
Marvel
give
spent
Josh Whedon
10
damn near
years building
4
that.
hours, if you gave Josh Whedon 4 hours to tell a movie, don't you think he probably could have made that movie better?
Possibly, but what the problem is that it's not all his fault as well. It's just they really wanted to catch up with Avengers, but it took 10 years to make, if you get what I mean, to build up. Where we're just going to go from Superman to Batman to the whole lot of them in one film, and they made it for about 2 hours. So it kind of did need to be 4 hours. And it also gave, like, Joss Whedon was rushed in and he threw in these few jokes here and there a lot of people didn't like. But because he had just done Avengers, which was huge, Warner Brothers want that kind of look and feel about it, to try and get that in, because Batman vs Superman and Superman or Man of Steel was too dark and they weren't happy about it. They went, oh no, this isn't what we want, and they kept interfering and all that. And don't get me wrong, people go mad when people interfere, but sometimes it works. Regardless, there was too many problems, and I'm going to tell you this now, and I know this, I figured this out a long time ago. Joss Whedon made The Avengers, which was a massive hit. And then I read an article, I should probably brought it up, that he was brought into Warner Bros. To make Batgirl or Batwoman. And I was like, really? They're getting Joss Whedon to make some secondary type character? It was like, okay, maybe that's what you want to do. He's just done Avengers. Why would he want to do Batgirl? All right. Anyway, so not long later, a few months later, Snyder had to depart because of his daughter dying. Now, look, that was awful. But she had done it months before. Months before he left, this had happened. So I actually think they were pushing him out and they were already bringing in Joss Whedon. That's my opinion. And they were trying to push him out. They didn't like the way it was going. Batman vs Superman didn't hit $1 billion, which kind of should have. And Man of Steel did well, but not super like Marvel numbers, So yeah, they got Joss Whedon to fix it up. It didn't fix it. It made it worse. And the Snyder cult was born. Now,
can I point something out real quick? Because Zack's daughter's passing was a sad situation.
Yeah, she took
I do want to point something out though. I noticed that when Zack is this is the thing, this is the sucky part. Zack knows that he has like a cultish fan base. He knows that there's this cultish fan base that's really into like his superhero movies and wants him to continue. He's aware of this. And I just want to make you guys aware that he's aware of this, because think about it. When he was raising money for the foundation for his daughter that he created, I guess to go for like suicide awareness or suicide prevention, what did he do? He made a freaking 3-day event showing all the Justice League movies and then finishing with the Snyder Cut, right? And he charged like stupid money for people to buy tickets for these things and in order to raise money for it. Now, he could have just, he's a Hollywood elite. The dude's in the circle. Netflix threw hella money at him to do that fake ass Star Wars trilogy. I mean, Netflix threw him the bag in order to do their Army of the Dead or whatever the fuck it was called movie, the little zombie heist movie.
Dead, yeah, it was called that.
Yeah, so like he's not broke, No. But I think, and it's not like he's like unconnected. So I just want to let you guys know that you guys are getting played. He's aware that you guys are cultish fans and things like that. Now I'm being honest, like I'm being 100% honest. He's completely aware of it. You can owe me all you want. He's completely
I'm agreeing. What I'm saying is, for the people that are watching that are Snyder cunts, yeah, what they'll do is they'll be looking to try and find a way to cancel you, which I will get into in a sec.
But go ahead. Well, anyway,
all right, all
I'm trying to say is that, like, you guys.
No, I completely agree with you. Now, this is no dig at Snyder because, again, I have loved some of it. Dawn of the Dead, I love. It's brilliant. Yeah.
300.
Yeah. I mean, to remake
Watchmen.
classic like that to be good. I like 300. I really like Watchmen. I don't know if everyone did, but I really enjoyed.
I
Really,
love the Watchmen. And then also 300. That was the first time that I've ever seen
really good
camera work like that. I've never
Yeah,
seen
it
camera
was
work like
just
that.
brilliant.
I've never seen that darkness and brightness on film. Like it looked really good to me.
Well, with the Watchmen, I never really knew much about the Watchmen, even though the DC and all that. I just knew of it, but I didn't. And so when I was watching this, again, I was really kind of unaware of just learning who Snyder was. When I watched this, apart from the visuals and the music and all that, it was so dark and it was so like the comedian was the good guy. I was like, wow, do you know? But it's the way he directed it and made it and how cool and stylish it worked from that film. I also love Man of Steel, and I really enjoyed Army of the Dead. Yeah. Now
I didn't like Army of the Dead, but I like Man of Look. So this says a lot. I don't like Superman. All right, I don't like Superman.
No shit.
But I went to go watch Man of Steel, and I actually enjoyed it. Now I also get where you guys are coming from, where you're like, I don't feel like you're like Man of Steel was a good movie, but it's a bad Superman movie. And it's like after hearing it from Superman fans like yourself and Jody, and they explained it to me, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like it is a dark ass film, and that kind of doesn't balance with that type of character because Superman is supposed to be like this hope, this beacon of light, and like he doesn't really personify that. Like
he was even shot like a Batman movie, dark.
I was just about to say that he kind of treats Superman like Batman in that movie. You know, like when Batman is talking about breaking his code and like how he doesn't kill people, like that whole scene with Zod at the end, it felt like something that would have been in a Batman comic where it's like he has to break his code about killing somebody in order to like save the world. You know, that felt like a Batman scenario.
Well, Superman has that code in a way he will not kill, and then I have to say though, I did not like him killing Zod. I didn't like it, but I don't want to get into this too much, but I was not happy. But I was thinking, well, what else are you going to do? But I remember before Batman versus Superman came out, if you're clever, you'll get rid of any DNA that's around anywhere because, like, the government getting hold of your DNA, blood samples, and all that. Yeah, no, he left the fucking body there. Do you know? I was like, shit. And then we got Doomsday. You know. But anyway, regardless. So this cult started this fan base, and there's loads of people in it, and it's like a bit like the Star Wars fan base, but to me, it's worse now, and it's become so fucking toxic. It's unbelievable. Now people go, who cares? Well, all right, you say who cares, but they've actually gone out of their way to cancel, destroy, and all kinds of things. So I'll give you an example I read recently is that because Rebel Moon, Zack Snyder's new movies, which haven't done well at all, they've been panned and they're dog shit. Because Netflix has cancelled it because they're not made any money. They can't throw any more millions at this movie that no one else is going to watch. Even let him do his Snyder Cut because Snyder Cut always does well, right? And now the cult of Snyder want to boycott Netflix, so they've started a petition to stop watching Netflix. Everyone it's like.
I also point something out. Here's the problem with these people. If they feel like they have so much economic power, why is it that everything that he's doing is failing?
Gonna say they were not able to save the Snyderverse, the Snyder universe. They didn't help make any of those apart from Aquaman that did well. None of them hit billions of dollars, just Aquaman. Yeah, as far as I know, it's just that one. Yeah. Now getting on to there's a new Superman coming as we all know. I keep saying. I was disappointed that Henry Cavill, say it right, yeah, was out because he was a great Superman, yeah, and I feel he deserved a sequel. And after watching the Justice League Snyder Cut, I did want to see what it looked like. The ending was kind of looked like, oh, I want to see that film. But regardless,
also one more thing, you guys had the chance to show that you actually gave a fuck about the Snyderverse when Black Adam came out. And Henry Cavill was at the end of the fucking movie, and nobody went to go see that shit, and that shit bombed. I just want to throw that out there that you guys had the opportunity to show that you really gave a shit about that universe, and you failed. Also, how much money did The Flash make?
I was going to say The Flash was panned, but the reason why I was going to wait for that is what I was saying. There's a new Superman film coming, as we all know, and got a new Superman, and to me it looks great. It looks like how Superman should be. Don't know if it is. It's fun, it's colourful, it's bright. Don't like the costume. The guy, he looks fine, but the Snyder cunts, they've decided that let's boycott this film, and Snyder threw the first shot at us, so let's fire back. But I want to remind everyone, against his own, that went against him. James Gunn endorsed The Flash. He actually said it's one of the greatest comic book movies he's ever seen, and that was part of the Snyderverse. He actually said, you have to go and see this movie. Yeah. So I wouldn't say he fired the first shots. He just took over and just need to restart, and you can't do it. And that's it. Snyderverse is dead. It's over. And the thing is, they got their win. They got their Snyder Cut Justice League. So let's leave it. Now, as I said, there's a new thing. So they've decided to bring out this manifesto. It's legit. It's on Twitter, and they're sharing it to all the people around the world who are Snyder, to do this, right? And this is what it says. I'm going to show you. This is legit, all right? So it says here, stand up and fight for the Snyderverse on the 11th of July the 11th, right? Fight for our Snyderverse on the imposter Superman release date. Here's what we can do to make a difference. Post spoilers everywhere. Now, it's fucking annoying, whether you like the film or not, to see spoilers, right? Anyway, post spoilers everywhere. People are less likely to see or enjoy the movie if it's already spoiled. Okay. 2, leave bad ratings and review sites. We know for sure, the Gunn bots will post fake positive reviews, so we must let people know the truth and balance the bases out. What truth? No one seen it yet? Anyway, regardless, reserve tickets online, but don't complete the purchase. By selecting the reserved tickets, it gets taken out of the pool for a period of time. Means that it is their chance of stopping the Gunn bots from buying the tickets.
That's actually true. I've done that by accident. That's actually very true. I've done that by accident. One time I was trying to purchase some tickets, and I picked 2 seats, and it failed. And I went back to do the whole process again, and I couldn't pick those 2 seats because it said they were selected.
Well, it says here, Gunn fired the first shot and killed the Snyderverse. Here is our chance to take the fight back to him. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to read it to you. Gunn replied to this. It says, LOL, I think we'll survive. I'm not sure the 8 people that listen to this guy are going out on the limb to guess. I can't even read it myself. It's too small.
Go out on a limb and guess it's a guy are going to impact the course of events.
Yeah, exactly. So, he replied the 8 people, but it isn't 8 people. It's quite a lot of people. Now, you reviewed the Justice League Snyder Cut trailer before the film came out, and you didn't love it. I remember, like everything else, you didn't love it, but that's fine. You hadn't seen it. It doesn't mean the film was going to be shit. You just didn't love the trailer, right? And for those who are watching, they started attacking him in the comments, and they were calling him the N-word. Now, to me, it's like, what the fuck could be so bad for you to do and say that out of pure frustration? So to me, they're a bunch of fucking cunts. Now, there was another guy in the Snyder, he's in the Snyder cult groups, which he was in the groups, and he disagreed. He said, no, why don't we just all enjoy Superman? We all love Superman. We love this. We love that. They lost their shit, and they went and they all tried to hack his account. And they hacked his account, and they got into all these details and all that, and started putting all kinds of horrible stuff on his Facebook feed and all that. Yeah. So to me, it's like, you know what? I worked it out. This is how it is. Do you know when people ain't got a life and they're not good in society? They need to have something to be part of. They don't know what to be, but all of a sudden they're part of something. Now, if you had a life, you had a job, you have friends, you have all these things to do, you wouldn't be interested. You might like Snyder, but you know what? But you don't. So you're stuck in behind your mum's basement, yeah? And if a man came to your door and came up to you and said, all right, let's talk this out, you'll hide behind your mum. You need to be part of something. So you found this thing where you can all be nasty with your own frustrations, yeah, and or your old, your less self-confidence, you ain't got any, all that kind of shit, and you're sticking to this, and you're all kind of toxic. You're calling people names. You're boycotting Netflix, who actually done nothing but threw money at Snyder. You're boycotting Warner Brothers, who gave the money to make the Snyder Cut. You're trying to boycott the Gunn, who's already said, who endorsed the Flash, and none of you went to see it anyway. It wasn't enough of you to see it for it to do well.
And none of you guys went to go see Black Adam.
Yeah, exactly, and a few others. Aquaman 2, I don't think did so well either, right? Now, and then get into your comments because you didn't like a trailer, which you're entitled to not like it, because I think you didn't mind the film, did you?
No, I said it was all right. I said it's better than the other cut, but I mean, he did have 3+ fucking hours to make a fucking movie. And honestly, when you watch the original, you can tell like this ain't like the Avengers. This is definitely a movie that you might need to two-part it. Like especially with they honestly should have 3-parted it, but that's just me though.
Or should have just built up to it like thingy,
Yeah.
So
But
look,
yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it. I thought that fucking ending was terrible though. That incorporation of the Joker, but see, here's the thing. The thing that I didn't like. The thing that I don't like is that you can tell what new scenes were re-recorded recently because Snyder has this thing that he does. Like when he gets a hold of like a particular directing technique, he spams the shit out of it. And if you guys have seen Army of the Dead, you would know that he was a big fan of them out of focus shots. You would exactly. You notice when you're rewatching the Justice League Snyder Cut, you started noticing there's more scenes that are out of focus shots. And
especially at the end, like you were saying with the Joker,
Joker, that was the big one. The out of focus Joker monologue scene, and how everybody was like, "Oh, that shit was amazing." I was like, "No, it wasn't. That shit was." It honestly, to me, didn't fit into the movie, but that's just me though. I was all for Jared Leto redeeming himself as a Joker.
There is a story behind that for Superman fans, but I'm just going to go into Man of Steel briefly. The problem, I didn't like the dark tone. I thought that I never liked the suit. It's better than the new one, to be honest. But I didn't like the coloring, all dark and stuff. It wasn't the suit so much; it was that. And when the flying, Superman the original, and even Superman Returns with Brandon Routh, I love the flying on those movies. The way you can see him from a distance, you close up and all these things, and see him move. With the Snyder Man of Steel, it was all in his face. It was all shaky cam and over his shoulder. You did see a good few bits and pieces here and there, but mostly shaking and all that. And look, that's his style, and I'm not knocking the film because I really do like it. I think he went too far with Army of the Dead because it was nearly going to give me a panic attack or some shit like that, a seizure. But going back to, I'm just going to give you a bit backstory. Joker killed Lois Lane in one of the comics. He killed her.
Yeah.
A load of people.
Yeah, and then Superman basically kills him.
He went berserk and became then like, he took over everywhere and he's like, I'm in charge here. No more fucking fighting. Like pretty much real hard.
Wait, but isn't that the comic where he punches a hole in Joker's like chest
but
or whatever?
I think they were kind of following on that, where they were holding on to the Joker and Superman had gone berserk working with Darkseid. And to me, it does look like a film I wouldn't mind seeing. Every time I saw I've seen it a few times, Snyder Cut, and every time I see that, I was like, yeah, I want to see more of that. I wouldn't mind seeing that, but it is what it is.
Wasn't there also like this speculation about Batman impregnating Lois Lane?
No, I mean, I heard that, but I don't make sense because like she had a pregnancy test. So to me, that means she was pregnant from Clark Kent. Why would I don't see how there was at no point in the Justice League that it looked like she had any other type of relationship with Batman or Bruce Wayne. I mean, it just made no sense to me, but I heard about that. Yeah. So anyway, the point is that look, I think Snyder people, you need to take a look at yourself. And I bet you I'm right about the kind of person you are. But be better than that. Don't be attacking people. I don't think you're going to affect what's happening with the new Superman film at all. I really don't. Yeah, you can bomb it as much as you want. You can do what you want. I don't think it'll affect it. But it is kind of sad that you're trying to do it. You know, the fact that you're actually taking your time out of your life to do stuff like this. You know, like to I see people on these groups all the time, and they're like absolutely. Like, you should see it. The stuff. It's actually funny. I see it in the group. It makes me laugh, and it makes me feel like, wow, like surely you've.
They're completely delusional.
Yeah, it's like
they're completely delusional. When you have conversations, look, here's the thing. I have actors that I like. I got directors that I like. I got movies that I like, right? But at no point in time am I going to emotionally invest myself in defending any of those things and any of those people, because it's not like I have stakes in the game. I've had conversations. I remember when the Snyder cut came out and I reviewed it, and I said, you know what, like it was a decent movie, whatever. Like I enjoyed it, kind of long-winded, didn't like the end, so on and so forth, right? And we used to put our reviews in Facebook groups and stuff. And one of the Facebook groups like had a bunch of Snyder bots in it, and they were just like on my shit. How dare you not like this? Whatever, right? And I'm like, dude, like I should be entitled to like not like things. And then like if you were ever even critique anything, you know what? I like this, but I didn't like that. Why are you even here then? Why are you even saying like it's either all allegiance or nothing. You cannot critique him. You cannot say, you know, I feel like he could have did this better. You know what? Maybe this could have been directed differently. If you do not say that he's 100% God, then you are not aligned with them. And that's a sick mentality to have.
Well, of course, again, I will argue with you about directors that I like and I'll defend them, but that'll be it. Once the video's over, I've forgotten about them. Do you know what I mean? But these people are obsessed. Now, we'll just say that they do ruin the new Superman movie. Just say they ruin it. Then what? What do you think Warner Brothers can go, let's get Snyder back and finish? That ain't happening. It's over. Yeah.
Exactly. They're going to go with a fresh start. This is what they're not getting. Let's just say hypothetically you guys get James Gunn fired, right? You're successful. Movie bombs. It's supposed to be the first movie. They're like, look, he started off bad. Yeah, we might need to let you go. Let's just say hypothetically that happens. You really think that they're going to pick up the phone and call Zack Snyder again? They're not. Because, again, you didn't show up for you didn't show up for freaking Black Adam. You didn't show up for Aquaman 2. Right, you didn't show up for the Flash, and those three movies could have at least remotely given you guys ammunition to argue that, you know what, these because that's what it is. At the end of the day, are these things lucrative? Is this direction that we're going lucrative? If you do not feel like it's lucrative, then they're not going to go that route, because they're in the game of making money. You know, we're making movies, but at the same time, we also need to make money, and it's not going to help if Snyder comes back and he needs this big ass budget and these big ass run times and all these stipulations in order to do it. Because when you think logically, let's say Warner Brothers gave him free range to release the Justice League cut the way that he wanted to, right? And he released that fucking 3-hour movie. That movie wouldn't have made a 4-hour movie. That movie wouldn't have made any fucking money, because it would have been sitting in a theater for 4 hours and they got to clean the theater afterwards. You have to run that shit basically in a whole theater in order for it to even make any kind of money. It's not going to make money.
I would have went, but how many people would, even big fans, want to go and sit for 4 hours? There people will wait till it comes to streaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, on top of that, you got to think about this. All superhero movies that make a lot of money, they have one thing in common. You can take your fucking kids to see it. No parent is going to take a kid to a 4-hour movie and expect to really enjoy themselves. You're not going to sit your kid in a 4-hour movie. Like, nobody's going to take the kid to a 4-hour movie. Marvel's starting to catch that. That's why they're making the movie shorter and shorter, right? They're starting to limit them run times, because they're realizing 2-hour movies might be a little bit too long for kids, and it's not making enough money. And that's another reason why, if they feel like it's a big project or something, like that's why they send it to streaming instead. But anyway, to the point, it wouldn't have been a lucrative stance. You give him the cut, you let him go what he wants to do. 4-hour movie released in the theater is not going to make any money. Warner Brothers is going to scrap him eventually. There is no light at the end of the tunnel for this idea that you guys have. The only way it would have worked is if you would have broken into parts, like part 1, part 2, part 3. That's the only way it would have worked. But at the
And
time, you
again,
guys
that
wasn't
wouldn't
all
work
right.
as well because it wouldn't have been enough for you to have paid your money to see a part of a film because it won't feel finished and wait for another few months to pay some more. It just, again, it's not his fault. They give him the money. He says, fuck it, I'm just going to do what I want now, right? And he did. But they needed to build up like Marvel, but they didn't give him the opportunity to do that. They really wanted rush, this, that. So it's not all his fault. Like the Warner, like people think, oh, it ain't. It's a bit of both, right? It's just his films didn't do well. Marvel was smashing it. Warner Brothers wanted the Marvel look and feel, and we want that. And they forced him into doing stuff that he didn't want to do. And most of the movies, like Batman versus Superman alone, those names alone should have made $1 billion. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely, because people were
I
waiting for
don't
that
like
movie forever.
that film. I was really pissed off about it. I was even pissed off before it came out because I knew what was going to happen, and it did. But what it's grown on me a bit more because there is a lot to like about the film. I think Ben Affleck is really good as Batman. There's some good effects, good stuff. It's just the plot was dog shit. It was stupid and it was incoherent. But anyway,
You
regardless,
also got to be honest about something. Snyder don't like comic books, so that's another thing that you guys got to be honest about. I know you guys are all like, a lot of people are like, oh, get mad when people say comic book accuracy, and I mean, I don't need 100% accuracy, but it should somewhat resemble the character that you're trying to portray. You know, like when you say certain things like, oh, I had this character do this and this character do that because I feel like it makes sense, and you're just like, well, yeah, that's cool that to you it makes sense, but it doesn't correlate with who the character is. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
yeah. Also, Christopher Nolan, I think, part wrote for Man of Steel. Anyway, regardless,
yeah, Nolan came and helped with that.
if you cancelled the new Superman or the whole new DC Gunn verse, whatever you call it, right? All that's going to do is just stop any superheroes for a long time in the Warner Bros. Universe. It's not going to get back Snyder. You're just ruining it. And remember, you're ruining it for other people. So more people are going to hate you. And when people hate you, what's the point that you're actually trying to get to in the end? You know, I mean, again, you've won with your Snyder verse. I still like him as a director. If something else coming out, I would take an interest in what's going on. So I am a Snyder fan. But as I say, all you're going to do is make people more people hate you and go against you. You're attacking innocent people who's actually been in your groups and said, no, you know what, give it a chance. No, let's ruin the movie before we... You know what the funny thing is? I think that the Superman film will actually do better because of the Snyderverse. I actually think in a lot of ways, a lot of people are going to see it just so they can hate it, which is money. And I think because they've made such a big deal, they're actually kind of in a way giving Superman free promotion. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
They're giving Superman free promotion because everyone's learning who these Snyderverses cunts are and paying attention. Oh, right, yeah, you know, you're actually bringing light to a new Superman film as well, and people will go to see if it's bad, to see what you think, regardless. So what you're doing is stupid.
And Superman is a very popular IP any damn way, so that on its own.
But I was just going to say is, look, you're allowed to hate films and you're allowed to have your little fan base of hating things and all that. But there's a point where I don't even care what you're saying about the Snyderverse. This new manifest you're doing. I don't care. What I do care is about attacking people, like calling you the N-word because you didn't like the trailer, not the film. And
the trailer. Yeah, because I think I was critiquing what's his name? Steppenwolf's I could critique something about Steppenwolf.
I just know they were calling you names, they attack you, right? Then, as I said, they attacked some dude, more than one probably, about because he's a Snyder fan, big Snyder fan, but he said, let's give this a chance. They went in, they hacked into his Facebook account, and they started putting up crude stuff on his Facebook feed for his family and all kinds of people to see and all that kind of shit, just to try and ruin him and do stuff like that. I mean, you know, these people now who are doing this don't really have much else to do, and they think they're the king of the... Oh, Snyder must be sitting at home thinking I'm the man. No, he doesn't give a shit. Yeah, just putting that out there, right? And all your other Snyder little cunts as well, right? They think that's great, but Who are you impressing? You're sitting at home impressing yourself. Nobody cares. Go and get a job. Go and get a life. Go and get some friends. Join another few groups, yeah, and enjoy yourself. Enjoy hating Snyder and Gunn and all those things if you want, but take a look at yourself and really you need to stop. Yeah, I don't care. I hope you do more against the Gunverse because I think it's fun. The way that it will help the film, it will not make a difference no matter what you do. So shut the fuck up and leave it alone and leave people alone. And don't be calling my mate the N-word because he didn't deserve that. He really didn't. Yeah. He might be a piece of shit now and again. He gets on my nerves, but he's far from being called that. There's no reason in the world that you would need to feel. You could have called him a shit. You got so angry you had to call him that. Well,
yeah, they were looking for they were looking for the one thing that they feel like would garner a reaction, the most disrespectful thing that they can say. Yeah. But I want to kind of like leave on this note. Now, for those of you that are going to be like, oh, you guys are gun bots, da da da, whatever, right? Now, look, James Gunn and Snyder are kind of like in the same category to me. I think that James Gunn is a better I think James Gunn is a better storyteller than Snyder is. But I think Snyder has a better eye on certain shots than James Gunn does. Now, here's the thing, and this is where me being honest comes into play at. I don't like Superman. He knows it. Del Boy knows this shit. Everybody knows it. I don't like Superman. I'm not a Superman fan. But what I am a fan of is being honest, right? And my honesty came out when I saw Man of Steel, and I was like, you know what? I don't like Superman, but I thought this was a good. I had fun with this movie. I thought it was a good movie. It's like a B movie, you know. And Del Boy knows this. We have a video about it. I argued with him about not liking the Superman trailer. I told him I don't like it. I feel I'm kind of iffy about it. Yeah, I'm kind of iffy about it, so on and so forth. So don't just think like, oh, we're some sort of Warner Brothers shills that are like in here like capping for Warner Brothers. Del Boy is genuinely excited about Superman because that's his favorite fucking character. He loves Superman.
I was excited for the Snyder one too, and I wasn't let down.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like he likes Superman in general. It doesn't matter who does it. He's just excited about it. But then he's also going to be honest as well too. But he feels like that James Gunn has more of an idea and captured the essence of Superman better than Snyder can. And yeah. I get that. And there's a reason why I like Man of Steel, and Man of Steel was more appealing to me because I like more darker characters. I'm more of a Batman type of character. You know what I'm saying? That's just my forte. Like I like Batman, I like Spawn, I like anti-heroes and shit like that. So like that kind of like dark persona kind of goes with me. But also I'm willing to listen and hear from actual fans of the character because I'm not a fan of the character. So I'm gonna shut the fuck up and listen. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is, Snyder people out there, is maybe you should just shut the fuck up and listen. You know, when somebody's trying to tell you something and tell you, look, this is the reason why I don't like it, X, Y, and Z. It doesn't mean because Zack Snyder's a hack. It doesn't mean he's a shitty ass director. It doesn't mean he's a shitty ass person. It just means they didn't like something because they don't feel like he understood.
Of Snyder, no matter what. So.
No, exactly. Yeah. But it's about understanding, because the only way you get better at something is if you listen to critiques and you build on them. You know, if you still have a bunch of people telling me, "Oh my God, everything you do is amazing," you're never going to get better at it because you're going to continue to be like, "Oh, I'm a revolutionary. I can do whatever the fuck I want." Then you're going to get Zack Snyder turning into Kanye West. And do you really want that? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, to the point that I'm trying to make, leave Superman alone. Let them do their thing. This is a fresh start for DC to have. They're going to reboot everything, right? And just let them have fun with the new universe and let them try to build, right? This could be the DC that you wanted, you know? Like, because we got to be honest with ourselves.
It ain't.
No, well, we got to be honest with ourselves, because
it ain't.
What they were trying to do with Snyder was like a last minute decision. They just was like, hey, like, look, Marvel building the universe. They're tying all their movies together. We got to do the same shit too, you know? And it was like, that's what they tried to do. But then it's like, you're coming off the back of a Dark Knight and a Dark Knight Rises. And, you know, you have all these other movies that are like not connected to this universe. And then you're like, okay, we need to like kind of like remove ourselves from this thing and then build something over here. Sony, Marvel doesn't have that. The only thing that has even remotely close to that is Into the Spider-Verse and the Sony films and shit. That's the only thing that it has outside of his universe. And those things don't even really matter. The problem with the DC universe is that they had too many things that were outside of the universe, and it was kind of like cluster fucking their universe. and it fell apart and it just didn't work. And y'all need to just accept that it didn't fucking work. You know, now's their chance to try to build something from the ground up and then have a true intent from the beginning. Just let them cook, let them do their thing.
I want to point out this though. I would have been quite content if Snyder had carried on before all this kick, before he lost. I would have been content with him carrying on because I thought Superman was good. I did. Some of them was really good, so I was content with it. But he ain't. So as far as I'm concerned, is that. Oh, by the way, so you telling me you all liked Rebel Moon, every single one of you, really? Yeah, I know you did. So it's one of those things is. They'll love it even if they don't, and even if they like the new Superman film, they won't. Do you get what I mean? So also,
I had so many arguments about Rebel Moon, and it's crazy because when I saw the trailer for Rebel Moon, I was like, "This actually looks kind of good." I was actually like, "This looks kind of cool. I'm down for this especially because the Star Wars universe was disappointing me." But then when you watch it and it's like, "Damn, dude, this shit like kind of like straight up like this." I don't know, like it just wasn't it.
Yeah, I dropped out halfway through, but also I was going to say so I know for a fact that not everyone liked it. So you're just, it's great. Let's boycott Netflix because they decided not to throw any more money at something they gave him 2 parts to make, So, and they haven't got rid of, as far as I know, they haven't got rid of Snyder, and I'm sure he's going to make another few movies and they'll be successful or not. Not all of them are good. We're allowed. Even the best directors have a bad day sometimes, So, I
think Snyder needs to understand that he's not a good storyteller, and it's okay, dude. Not everybody knows.
Yeah, I know. That's what I have to say. Is like all the films that were written for him done really well, and the films that he wrote weren't great. Do you know what I mean? Like he didn't write 300. He didn't write
Watchmen.
He didn't write what's the one? The Dawn of the Dead, and. But he did write Sucker Punch, and that film went.
Dude, Sucker Punch was fucking terrible, and it's crazy because I wanted to watch that movie because I was like, first of all, I love music, and I thought the visuals looked amazing, but I was bored to death during that whole movie, and this was when I was like a teenager, dude, and I was easily entertained. So that shit had to suck.
Well, exactly. So look. He's got a great visual style, and what I like about him is sometimes he thinks out of the box, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But he goes for it, like again with the Army of the Dead, that zooming in, zooming out. That was the style he wanted to try. He tried it. Some people liked it. I didn't, but I did really like the film. I've actually watched it twice, maybe 3 times over the last couple of years. I just had fun with it. So again, I do like Gunn's look though. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy looks pretty good, like the coloring and these color grade and that kind of thing. But regardless, anyway, look, there's a new one coming out, and going by the trailer that I liked, one thing I appreciated most in the trailer was the flying. He's kind of nailed how you would see the flying. You're not all this shaky up in his face and over his shoulder, and it's like, oh my god, give us a break. But you see him from a distance. You see him doing the flying around. I like that. I'm hoping to see. That's what I've always wanted.
But he got them eyes that look crossed though when he's flying. He look crossed like he's flying so hard that he's turning to Pennywise.
I don't like they're doing that yet because look, the guy's got maybe a lazy eye, but I guarantee you he's fucking better looking than most of those fucking shit faces home at their mum's fucking closet, So I'm not being funny. He's a 6'5" dude. I'm sure he'll. Speaking of which, I want to talk about Bella Ramsey on another video that she's getting all this hate over her face and how she looks and all that. And I think
who's that?
Bella Ramsey.
Who's that?
She's the girl from The Last of Us. There's all these memes about how she looks, and I'm not happy about that at all. I think she's only a young girl. Anyway, it's another story, but
it's kind of like what they did with Starlight from.
It sounds like I'm some serious liberal left. I'm not. I'm more in the center. Yeah, I really am. I don't like far on any side. They do my head in. It's just with this, I think that you need to shut the fuck up and just enjoy whatever movies. Movies are for everyone. Enjoy them or you don't. Pan them. Say what you have to say about them. But when it's affecting, when you're going out your way to hurt people, and hurt people's lives, Netflix will survive. you're boycotting, and the Gunn will survive. But there's people who like films, and you're hacking their accounts. You're trying to get them to lose their job, and you're trying to get them to, like, why? Because they like something that you don't, or they dislike some. Calling him the N-word because he just didn't love the trailer, but he enjoyed the movie just fine. It's just makes no sense. So anyway, I just wanted to get it all off my chest because I think people need to hope. Look, you can try and bomb my Movie Mash channel as much as you want because the channel is already failed. It's dead. Yeah. So you fire away. In fact, the more comments and more hate you give me, the better my channel will do. So please bring it on. Yeah. But as I say, I just wanted to say it, get it off my chest. It's been pissing me off. It's probably not bothering James Gunn, but it's bothering me instead. It's bothering me because of the people I've heard about who would actually be.
It's just because they won't give Superman and give James Gunn and give Warner Brothers a fresh start. Like, they gave you guys an opportunity to do your thing. It didn't work, and it's okay. Like, they listened to you guys. They released the Snyder Cut. It's okay. You guys got a chance to see it in movie theaters. It's okay. You got a chance to see that fucking black and white version. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, you got a chance. You were listened to. Your voices were heard. Take that as a win and keep it pushing.
A big win. Huge.
It's a big win because you guys forced the hand of a studio, and you should be fucking happy about that. Now, here's the thing. You're not going to change the course that's already set in front of them. They gave you guys an opportunity. They kind of like gauged the interest with fucking Black Adam and Aquaman 2. Nobody was biting. Flash, that shit got reviewed. Like, nobody liked it. That movie got trashed. Flash was fucking terrible.
Yeah,
whatever. That's a conversation for another day.
I don't like that version of the Flash, the character, but I enjoyed the movie just fine.
Nah, the whole movie fucking sucked, but that's a conversation for another day. Yeah, you guys just take this as a win. And then just keep it pushing. Like, you're not going to force Warner Brothers' hand into giving Snyder the fucking keys again. It's not going to happen. Like, it's just not. You're not going to force Netflix to buy the fucking Justice League.
Yeah, I know. Do you think Warner Brothers would ever give up anything to do with DC? Are you fucking crazy? No chance. I want to say this one last thing, right? Just giving you an example of what they did, right? So say you, Davey, from the 80s, that you love Snyder. And you've loved every fucking film he did, and you love
Snyder.
You loved the DCEU, the Snyderverse that he created, and you wanted to see more. And you are on board with everything to do with Snyder, but you say, "I wouldn't mind seeing this new Superman." Now, remember, big Snyder fan. You loved everything. You're on board. You wished he'd carried on. You say, "Oh, I want to see." That's the person they went after and tried to ruin it. He is still a Snyder fan. But because he wanted to see the new one and said, just give it a chance. There's more than just him, but that's what they done. He wasn't an outright hate Snyder, like I'm not either, actually, but he wasn't an outright. He loved all of it and supported and wanted more from him. But he said, look, let's give this one, and bang. They went after him and tried to ruin his job. So that's what I'm talking about. Instead of looking after him and saying, yeah, you are one of us, but, maybe, but no, they're still one after him. So,
yeah, like, you're not even respecting your own.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're eating your own, if you get what I mean. Yeah, you actually gone out and eating your own people. So there you go.
Like this man right here, you eating your own.
If you're a Snyder fan, and if I have somehow got through to you, and you've gone, all right, I see your point. Great, that means this video is worth it. And if I haven't, and it's pissed you all off, then this video is worth it too. Okay. So this is for all the people that you've tried to hurt, and people might go, oh, surely you can't. This is a toxic thing. For anyone who doesn't know anything about it, this is a toxic thing where they have actually tried to go out of the way to ruin people's lives, over a director who don't give a fuck about them. Do you know what I mean? So, all right, I'm sure he does to a point, but, he's not going to lose sleep over any of the shit you do. So there you go. So anyway, please like and subscribe. Leave your comments below. Good or bad. This is Davey from the 80s over from Cinema Chop Shop. I'm sure this is going to be on his channel too. So if not, I'll put a link in. Check him out. He's good. He's consistent more than I am. And he's worth subscribing to, just so you know. And he's a good guy. And there's no need to call him names if he doesn't like a trailer that you don't like. Do you know what I mean? In fact, it's all subjective. It gives us a reason to talk. Me and you don't agree with a hell of a lot of things. It gives us a reason to talk and have debates about it. Do you know?
There's a bunch of shit we don't agree on.
Yeah,
there's a lot of shit. We literally were going back and forth about the Superman trailer. That's what I'm saying. Like,
you know, but that makes it fun. I still respect you. Well, maybe a little bit less now since you said that about the trailer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna join up with the fucking gun bots now and get you. But I'm just gonna say is, look, please like and subscribe. Leave the comments. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you're a Snyder person, Snyder cunt, I hope you didn't. So yeah, like and subscribe. I'll keep saying it. It's like, let me finish this video. I'll let you finish it. Finish it for me, Dave, because I'm getting wound up.
All right. If you have not done so already, make sure to subscribe to Del Boy's channel, Movie Mash. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you subscribe to my channel, Cinema Chop Shop. Remember, this video was done because we just want to have a discussion. We're not sitting there trying to argue with you motherfuckers. We're not trying to debate with you motherfuckers. Everything we talked about is pure facts. So if you're upset about it, take it up with your mama. Anyway, with that being said, you are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. You are now freaking flying out of, or you're exiting the Movie Mash Theater. You know, whatever. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys next time. Until next time, adios.
But for now, until next time. See, I gotta throw my piece in.
I want to play a game. Subscribe now. The choice is yours. You're now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop.